Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session 153. Congratulations if you made it this far and have watched each of the sessions. I really made an effort with this tutorial series concerning the Mandelbulb 3D software application to cover all of the features and the functionality, the tools that are available to us to create a complex animation. And along the way, we pretty much discovered that there really is no cash outlay for software. Obviously, there's always going to be a cash outlay for your PC. But a number of different software tools which we didn't spend any money on at all. And along the way, we covered a variety of topics that were all in some way or other related to the building of the animation that we ultimately ended with. And in all of our discussions, I think that maybe the most value that you might get out of this tutorial series is as it pertains to workflow. I think you could see the common theme all the way through the whole series, where I was talking about working on your graphic first. Get your graphic good. Get your coloring, get your lighting, get that in pretty good shape before you move into animation. All right. But once you've got a good quality, coloring the way you like it, the lighting the way you like it, then you can move into keyframing. And I was suggesting that you review as you go, all right, so that you don't find yourself having a pretty serious problem, whether it be with animation or coloring or shadowing or something, further down the line when it's a little bit too late to fix it. And you probably got the sense that I regard documenting my moves as an essential step in the process of animation, not the process of coloring and lighting, because in coloring and lighting you can see where your controls are. You can see that the lighting is here on the slider. It's a little, I can go this way and improve it. But when it comes to your keyframes, it's very difficult to understand what that keyframe did, what kind of move was involved. And so I think that the Mandelbulb 3D software keyframing or animation tools a little bit shy of what's really healthy in terms of a workflow. So it's really common sense. You keep your documentation so that you understand what your keyframes are doing. And I also suggested that you think of your full animation in terms of animation sequences. Get that sequence worked out pretty good. Get your speed, your animation speed down. Get that nailed down, document it, review it, and then do your next animation sequence, and then do your next one. And the whole point of that is so that you don't build this 30 keyframe, 100 keyframe animation, and you find that you've got a problem way back in keyframe number 6. It's very difficult to be fixing keyframes that are earlier in your animation, okay? I learned that by the School of Hard Knocks. I threw too many keyframes away, and I said, there's got to be a better way here. And then I started documenting, and I started thinking of my animation in terms of chunks or sequences. Okay. And as you move along in the development of your animation project, where you're paying attention to the graphic, the lighting, the coloring, the keyframing, you always want to keep in mind ultimately that you're going to be building an output video, a video presentation. And you want to be thinking about user experience, whether or not the animation is kind of like telling a story. Is it interesting to the viewer? Is it boring? Are people going to fire up your animation and then just kill it in 30 seconds because it's boring? Well, it's not that you're really trying to please audiences all over the world. But if you're going to do this, if you're going to put the time and the effort in to build a Mandelbulb 3D animation, you might as well do it to the point where you're proud of your work, and where people will fire it up on whatever venue it's on, YouTube or Vimeo, or you just hand somebody a thumb drive and say, here, have a good time with this. You want your viewer to have an experience, to enjoy it, to say, that was pretty cool, to forget about all their troubles for the moment, all right, and just kind of enjoy racing around in this incredibly weird and complex world that we can create with these three-dimensional Mandelbulb fractal environments. Pretty cool stuff. Now, the Mandelbulb 3D software application has got a lot of tools and a lot of capabilities that will do you no good if you don't understand them and get experience with them. And along the way, you're gonna feel a little bit of frustration, but don't worry about it. Just try different things and twiddle the knobs, as they say, and see what it does. Be prepared for a crash. It happens. And just kind of think of the Mandelbulb 3D software, which is a fractal generator. Think of it as a kind of a digital canvas that has a very specific point and purpose. Mandelbulb, graphics. Whether or not those graphics are ultimately compiled into a motion, an animation, or if it's a still. What you're trying to do with the Mandelbulb 3D software is to be a digital artist that is along the lines of the fractal graphics, which is basically math. Math formulas have been converted into pixel structures, and then you apply lighting and you apply coloring to that, and eventually you apply motion to that. The Mandelbulb 3D software is probably not ever going to go away. It's not owned by a corporation that just decides it wants to kill it out of the market. It has a good following. It's got a number of different tutorials that have been created. It's got some documentation. There's maybe a half a dozen Mandelbulb 3D artists that kind of stand out in terms of their work and popularity. Track them down, take a look at their work. In many cases, you can get the formulas, if you remember way, way, way back. And I'll put the session up on the screen where you can actually use the From clipboard and you can bring in parameters. There's a lot of people that will actually share the parameters of their work that you can go copy and just put it right in, and you've got somebody else's work right there in your Mandelbulb environment. You take it from there. So the Mandelbulb 3D software you can have a lot of fun with. But let me leave you with this thought. The better you know it, the more you're going to be able to do with it, and the less frustrated you're going to be in using it. So I hope that this Mandelbulb 3D fractal generator animation tutorial has been helpful for you. I hope it's gotten you to the point where you can be a fractal artist, have a good time with it, output some good stuff. I'd love to see your work. You know, feel free to share it. Feel free to refer to the various sessions of this tutorial if you need a refresher. But more importantly, the thing to do is to just make Mandelbulb fractals, whether they're stills or animations, and just use them. Use the application, have a good time with it, see what you can do, make your mistakes, throw a bunch of stuff away, it's okay, and then ultimately bring something to a point where it's a published art that you can put out there in the world for other people to enjoy. Meanwhile, you move on to the next Mandelbulb 3D project just because it's fun. All right? So I really appreciate you sticking with me through all of these sessions. I think it was worth it. I hope you think it's worth it as well. All right? So hey, let's get back to Mandelbulb here. Let's have a good time. You go your way, I'll go my way, and I wish you the best of luck with the Mandelbulb 3D software application that was intended from way back in 2010 to be a fractal generator, which I think it does a pretty good job doing, and I hope you agree. All right, take care.